So I turned, true story, to see who's called my name, but when I turned, the rope and this thumb switch places. So the next thing I do is, are you done eating? So the next thing I do is I slice the top of this thumb off. It's dangling by this corner. Now, you don't feel pain. I mean, I really didn't feel pain. My only thought was, oh my gosh, this is so unprofessional. I hope they don't notice. And they noticed. There was a pool of blood on the floor, and the white rope had turned red. So one of the doctors said, go in the bathroom and put your thumb under hot water. So I excused myself. I remember the bathroom was that way. I get off the stage. I go in the bathroom, and I have my thumb under hot water, and it is still bleeding. And there's a woman there. She said, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to stop the bleeding. She said, so put it under cold water. I went, no, the doctor there. She said, no, you have a heart attack. Ask Kim. I'm a nurse. True story. I put it under cold water. It stopped bleeding. I wrapped it up with tape. I went out. I finished the program. Then I got it taken care of. But the point is, if I had said to myself, well, obviously, you can't talk and do things at the same time, you know, scrap the magic, I would have missed the last 25 years of adding magic in now and then, which I think is fun because I think we're visual learners. So the point is, make it okay to not be perfect. Watch the little voice that's saying you can't do that, or the last time you did it didn't work, or whatever. Be willing to take risks. Be willing to move outside our comfort zone. If there really were such a thing as magic. And the magic was that we could take the knowledge that every single one of you comes into this room with this afternoon, and what if I add an idea here, an idea there during the time I've got with you, so that when you go back and you have any big challenge, and we all have challenges, you would never again feel so frustrated by something you could feel like you're at the end of your rope. Or that you have to do a mediocre job with anything. Instead, you would have a long list of options. So great magic is just taking the knowledge that you've already got, and by adding a new idea here and a new idea there, actually be able to turn around and stretch our knowledge base to be more effective. And because I've got some great people in the front row, would you like to have a rope as a souvenir? Thank you. And you know, anything that gets in the way, that stops us from really being our most effective, is an illusion. It's emotion. But man, we don't think as clearly, as effectively, as brilliantly as we know how. So I'd like to share some thoughts on taking the emotion that gets in the way, that stops us from being the heroes that we all are, and just blowing it away. And that's real magic. That's what we're going to talk about. Somebody next to them. Would you put your arm out like so? See how easy it'd be to smack somebody if you weren't careful. Now bring it up like this. Now put your index finger and your thumb out and put them together. And for a second, imagine there's a great deal of pressure on the fingernail and a great deal of pressure on the knuckle. And keeping the same degree of pressure, very quickly bring your hand to your chin. Okay, now for most of you, this is not your chin. Now you know it has nothing to do with IQ. It has everything to do with if we're visual or auditory. The visual people, most of us are visual. We're waiting to see what's next. The auditory people, there were some right here, are typically waiting for the visual people to catch on. And I was somewhere the other day, there was a guy that did this, just kind of but I did it for another reason. The mind is an amazing thing. Even though we know exactly where we want to go, man, is it easy to get sidetracked. I'd be very arrogant if I said, I know how you're sidetracked. I don't have a clue. But I know with so much going on right now, so often we have to multitask, do more with less. We're stretched in so many different directions, and it sidetracks us. It stops us from being as effective as we know how to be. Keep in mind, Einstein said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. So what could Scott be holding? A pumpkin. What else? A football, I think you said. What else? A balloon. A watermelon. A baby. Not a good way to hold a baby, but maybe, you know, it could be a baby puppy. Who knows? What Scott is actually holding is an invisible deck of cards. He is going to impress everybody in the room this second by shuffling those cards. He is going to take them. He is going to take them out of the box first.
So take them out of the box. I'll open the box.
Now he's going to do blow by blow description. Okay. What I'm going to do is turn around, maybe sip a bit of water or something. I won't cheat. As soon as I turn around, would you go to somebody? You don't have to go far, but not at your table because they might all just go along with you. And fan the cards. Have them pick a card, hold it up in the air where everybody can see, and then turn it upside down in the deck and square the deck, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
And then anytime you're ready, just toss them right up here.
Okay, ready? Okay.
I fully get it that you're not impressed. I wouldn't be either, don't worry. This was not about the magic. The rope wasn't bad, but this was about a real, genuine reminder. We get so locked into, this is how I learned it, this is how I do it, instead of the fact that it won't work anymore. The more flexible and creative we are with our attitude, the more effective. So, Scott, I don't have a clue who picked the card. Who picked the card? Hey, how are you? What card, now they know, but you know I don't know. I am certainly not that good. What card did you pick?
Three of diamonds.
Okay. I have to tell you that sometimes this works brilliantly. Because most people, I would say seriously about 85 to 90% of people pick the ace of spades.
Oh,
Yeah, well, too bad he didn't come your direction. He did. 3 of diamonds. Okay.
I like diamonds. What do you say?
Good idea, most of the time. Okay. I wonder if I could have you help me. Could you come up, just move up here for a second? There looks like there's one card that's turned the other direction. Would you take that card and turn it around and see whether it's over?
Really.
People live up and down to our expectations. How are we communicating? And are we aware of how we're communicating? If we're communicating courageously, it's getting our ego out of the way. You know, we need to know how we're coming across, and then we get to choose. I'll give you a quick example. When I met my future second ex-husband's friends when I moved to New York, I thought I was making a good impression. I found in a person they thought I was aloof and stuck up. They had a very different perception than reality, but I didn't know any better, and they were acting on that. Our job is to be aware of how we're coming across and to communicate courageously, because that is, of course, what we do to build relationships, to get collaboration, to get people to work effectively. Most people drop a new idea like a hot potato. The difference between mediocrity and greatness is not IQ or EQ. It's not education. It's not good looks or money. It is the ability to keep on when it feels wrong or weird and nobody else sees that vision that you've got, and they even tell you, don't bother, it's not going to work. But you keep on, because that is the difference. And if you don't think that we can change our habits and the way we think, take your wastebasket when you get back to work and move it. Watch how many days the paper hits the floor. We are creatures of habit, which means we can move and change and create anything in a different way. And if you wonder why I'm finishing my part of your day by tearing up paper, it's a reminder. It was Will Rogers that said, even if you're on the right track, you're going to get run over if you just sit there. Isn't that true? So it's choosing, what am I going to take away from this luncheon, from the morning speaker, from what you're doing this afternoon, taking action and doing something. And if you don't, it's taking your precious, valuable time and just tearing it up. I personally do not think that